Two friends just might kiss. She might turn me into a vampire. Why aren't you saying anything? You're supposed to be like, yeah. If the title wasn't Unholy Blood, I would call it natural selection. A lot of these people are very stupid. College student Hwang is extremely desperate to fit in and have a normal life. In her residency, breaking her back to make friends. She goes to a bar and has a drinking competition, to be loved by a crowd, to then be offered a walk home by a handsome student. This isn't a romance. But this town is known for one thing lately: bloodsuckers, vampires. On this night though, the student tries to act tough and says he isn't scared of vampires. Natural selection. A lot of these people are very stupid. And by the grace of Satan, they run into a man beating on this civilian, to the civilian transforming into a vampire and killing the man. The student that was talking tough? Hocus pocus! And Hwang is stuck while the vampire inches closer to her. As she panics, saying she'll look for something, the vampire taunts her saying, "I'll turn you into a vampire," going in for a bite, but suddenly an arm that pops like a lightning strike goes through his head, revealing white hair and fangs from Hwang. Surprise! She was already a vampire. Hwang wanted to live a normal life, but it seems she's gonna have to combat vampires as well. I guess you could say she wanted the best of both worlds. The following day, she ends up meeting some of the people from the bar and starts talking about the professor, Dong-Yu Park. Immediately, a positive thing about this story is a lot can happen within one episode, and we already see the female protagonist, Hwang, go from desperate to confident. This man was able to get a scholarship while holding 3 jobs. I can't even keep up with my classes. But we're also introduced to a student who's the polar opposite. Dong-Yu Park is in Canada, while this kid is in Antarctica. He's a failure and is known for it. He's talked about badly all over the place, and today was the day he snapped. These two run into each other this night, but Dong-Yu Park is in a hurry somewhere. But as soon as Dong-Yu gets in his car, he's already talking about the dude. Couldn't even drive off. Natural selection. Like, no, let's just talk about him right in front of him. Like, you know, that's his demise though. And this kid snaps, and when Dong-Yu tries to pull off the car, he flips it. And then he gets approached, and then his life is over. Next day, everyone's mourning, and Hwang's just like, oh. All right. So boom, there's an assembly, but Hwang makes her way the other way to meet that guy that killed Dong-Yu and asks him to turn himself in, but he doesn't want to. Natural selection. The student even attacks her, but she eats hit after hit. This guy tells his sob story. Granted, I know it's important, but I like fighting. We learn Hwang isn't just any vampire. She's the angel of death, the white-haired vampire. This student is warned about this in flashbacks, but as soon as he realizes it, he's dead. So the police are investigating an area where Hwang was almost attacked before, and we enter Captain Hwang. Sorry, I just had to let that out, you know? A rising detective who's known for always finding vampires and having a procedure to end them. I was taught to cook and clean for my man. In this case, he meets Hwang, and he takes a bit of an interest. It's unusual, but he tries to have a meal, and granted, she's a vampire, so she can't eat normal food, and almost chokes in a tense moment with long pauses of silence. The school is then having a moment while some people are trying to parade and be vampire detectors, then try to figure out if Hwang is a vampire, but Hwang says she won't. He wants to bring her into the police station to answer some questions. Does he know she's a vampire? Better yet, something more legendary. Was he even able to spot her? This comic is a fast-paced story with explosive crazy fights and follows Hwang trying to hide her double life as she navigates through college and normal society. I think it puts a lot of effort into the smaller things like the minor characters that'll die, giving them a personality with flawless fighting scenes that are worth seeing and satisfying to action fans. Follow Hwang as she tries to keep her vampire ability secret in the story Unholy Blood on WEBTOON. I know, crazy. A story about vampires? I guess you could say they suck up your time. You should totally subscribe to me, you know?